free to kick it off whenever you're ready.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm told that it's time to start. Welcome to the December 3rd, 2020 edition of the Sign Code Board of Appeals. I'd ask staff to call the roll to see if we have quorum here to do business this evening.
All right, I'll go ahead and call the roll, and then I'll have Kyle go through his little Zoom protocol spiel. Clark?
Present.
Falvey?
Here.
Gardner?
Here.
Harrod?
Here.
Shalinsky?
I'm here.
Weisner?
Here.
And we have quorum. Thank you.
Great. I would ask Kyle now to give us our rules of the road as far as conducting our meeting by Zoom this evening.
Thank you very much. My name is Kyle Kobe, and I'll be facilitating the Zoom video portion of the meeting. Give me just 1 second here. Participating live from the City Commission room is Catherine Weeks, staff liaison. We will work alongside the chair, who is on remote video, to facilitate the meeting proceedings. Currently, I have everyone muted so we can talk through the general ground rules for tonight's meeting. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast live on the city's YouTube channel and public access cable channel 25. During the meeting, please mute yourself by clicking on the microphone icon found in the lower left-hand corner of the Zoom menu next to the video icon. When you are muted, a red line will appear over the icon. This will make it easier for everyone to hear the meeting. Just remember to unmute if and when you want to speak. In the menu, you can also turn your camera on or off by clicking the video icon located next to the microphone icon. For the purposes of this public meeting, please keep your video on for the duration. If you are participating by phone, you can enter *6 to mute and unmute your phone. Somewhere on your Zoom screen, you will also see a choice to toggle between speaker and gallery view. Speaker view shows the active speaker. Gallery view tiles all of the meeting participants. Be aware that we will not be screen sharing as a part of the meeting this evening. All attachments, reference materials, and submissions from the public are included in the agenda packet. Board members, you must state your name and title each time you speak. Members of city staff must also state their name and title each time they speak. I'll also ask applicants and members of the public identify themselves each time before they speak to ensure that everyone is able to follow along. When public comment is sought on an item, individuals participating via Zoom should use the Raise Your Hand feature. Windows and Mac users can access this feature through the Participants button at the bottom of their screen. Android and iPhone users can access this feature through the More button located at the bottom right-hand corner of their screen. For those calling in by phone, you may dial *9. Individuals will be called upon by name in the order they appear on the meeting host screen. When you are called on, please unmute your listening device and state your name before speaking. Chair will then call for in-person public comment for those who are physically present. Staff will direct you to the podium to speak while following social distancing and safety protocols. All motions will need to be stated clearly. After a motion is made and seconded, staff will call on each board member individually to provide their vote. Staff will then announce whether the motion carried and the count of the vote. I want to again remind everyone to please mute yourself when you're not speaking. I'll now turn the meeting back over to the chair.
Thank you, Kyle. We'll go to the next thing on our agenda, and communications. Does anyone have any communications to come before the board that we need to know about?
Catherine Weeks, staff liaison. We did not have any additional communications that were not submitted in the pack.
Okay. And this is Chairman Harrod, and I'd also ask, was there any board member need to disclose, any commission member need to disclose any ex parte communications regarding the agenda item tonight? All right, seeing none. And then third up, and are there any agenda items that will be deferred tonight?
Staff liaison Catherine Week, there are no items being deferred tonight.
All right, great. So this is Chairman Harrod, and I believe we can now move on to the public hearing portion for item SV-20-00407. And I would turn it over to staff to get us started.
Good evening, Barry Walthall with Planning and Development Services Department. I'd like to start with an introduction, if that's okay. Kimberly French is the permit technician in planning and development services, and she's done um, basically all of the work in working with this applicant and the sign code review and putting together the staff report. So really appreciate her work, and she's taking on more and more sign review tasks and responsibilities for us. So you may see more of her in the future. So welcome, Timberly, and thank you. Appreciate your work. So I think the executive summary on page 1 of the agenda item report really pretty succinctly spells out the situation. I don't want to complicate this too much. It's what it comes down to is they have an existing sign that was approved by variance in 2014, and this business may not have even been aware that the variance was issued. It was issued at the request of the property owners as this multi-tenant building was being constructed, and I believe before they even knew who the tenant would be for this space. So the gist of that variance had to do with sign area. At the time the variance was approved in 2014, the sign code allowed a maximum of 1 wall sign for a building in a office zone district, any of the office zones, including commercial office. A single wall sign up to 12 square feet. And since this property also has a monument sign installed, it was actually only allowed 2 square feet of sign area. So the board at the time issued a variance allowing 3 wall signs plus a monument sign, all larger than specifically allowed by code, to a maximum of 20 square feet for each wall sign, each of 3. The sign code at that time did not restrict which walls those signs could be installed on. So fast forward to 2020, and in 2018 we had a new sign code adopted. That sign code made some pretty significant changes to the signs that are allowed in the commercial office district. It allowed for more and bigger signs, but it also limited the walls on which signs could be placed. So even though we have a sign on a wall that's existing, that would, under today's code, as far as the size allowance, be compliant with the sign code, a variance is still needed because this particular wall is not eligible for this tenant to have a sign. Reason being, they don't have a public entrance into the space on this wall or in this wall. So the sign that is proposed, as far as area and size and number of signs, is within the code requirements. The wall just simply isn't eligible. So the staff recommendation in this case is that all of the criteria for a variance, we believe, are met or may be met, and we recommend approval of the variance request. I do believe that the applicant's representative is present and could speak to anything I may have missed from their perspective, or would be able to assist with answering any questions. Thank you.
This is Chairman Harrod. Thank you, Barry. Do any of the commissioners have any questions for Barry? Okay. If the applicant is present and would like to speak to us, this would be the time.
Chris Hampton, Springfield Sun. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I really don't have anything to say other than what Barry did. I mean, the only addition I would add is, the demographic of our clientele is majority of them are older. That's part of the reason we're asking for a little bit bigger sign. Like he said, the sign really should be over on the entry, which is on more of a residential street. And then so they did allow it to come to the other side of the building on the north side facing 6th Street. And they are adding dental implants to the sign. But really, I don't have anything other than that unless you guys have some specific questions.
This is Chairman Harrod. Thank you, Chris. Do any of the other commissioners have any questions for Mr. Hampton?
This is Commissioner Barry Shalinsky, or board member, I guess. My question is with regard to the existing sign. I went by today and had a look. Can you tell me how big that is?
That one's, I think it's just a hair. It's right at 20 square feet.
And the proposal is for 32 square feet?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
This is Chairman Harrod. Does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Hampton? I'm seeing none. And do we have any public comment tonight? Do we have anybody on the Zoom call or at City Hall that wants to speak to this issue?
This is Staff Liaison Catherine Week. We do not have anyone present at City Hall that would be here to speak.
Kyle Covey with planning. I am not showing anybody in my participant window that has either raised their hand or would be here to speak on this item.
Board member Gardner moved to close public.
Okay, this is Chairman Harrod. It's been moved by Board Member Gardner to close public comment. Is there a second?
Board Member Weisner, second.
All right, thank you. This is Chairman Harrod. It's been moved and seconded to close public comment. I'd ask staff to call the roll on that motion.
Catherine Reek, Staff Liaison. Clark.
Aye.
Balvey.
Aye.
Gardner.
Aye.
Harrod.
Aye.
Shalinsky.
Aye.
Weisner.
Aye.
And motion carries.
This is Chairman Harrod. Thank you. So it's back to the board now, board or commission, depending on what side of the brain the thought is coming from tonight. But anyway, it's back to the appointed members of this board to discuss. I'd invite you to let us know what you think.
Board member Gardner, shame on me. I use the bank next door, and obviously those signs had never jumped out at me at all. I had no idea that that's what that business was. And I guess I'm one of those older people that would need a bigger sign. So I'd move approval of the variance from section 5-1818 B of the 2018 sign code for the location of the proposed wall sign at 4505 West 6th Street, based on staff's finding that it meets all three criteria for the granting of a variance.
This is Chairman Harrod. Thank you, General Gardner. General Gardner has made a motion to approve the staff recommendation regarding the item before us tonight. Is there a second?
I'd also like to say nice work, Timberly.
I'll second that. The work
right.
and the proposal.
All right. So the gratuitous shout out to Timberly and the well-spoken motion regarding the item tonight made by General Gardner and seconded by Board Member Clark. I'd ask the staff to call the roll.
Staff Liaison Catherine Week. Clark,
Aye.
Falvey,
Aye.
Gardner,
Aye.
Harrod,
Aye.
Shalinsky,
Aye.
Wisner,
Aye.
and motion carries 6-0.
Thank you, Catherine. I'm looking at our agenda and it advises me that we should consider any miscellaneous items to come before the board. Does anyone know of any miscellaneous items to come before the board this evening?
So this is Staff Liaison Catherine Week. Staff does not have any miscellaneous items, but I would keep you abreast of any upcoming items that we have. And tomorrow is the deadline, but currently we don't have any on the slate to come before you in January, so.
Okay. All right. Well, if there's nothing else from staff or from the board members present, I would be looking for a motion to adjourn.
Board Member Shalinsky, so moved.
Thank you, Board Member Shalinsky. Is there a second?
Board Member Wisner, second.
All right, this is Chairman Harrod. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. I'd ask staff to call the roll.
Staff Liaison Catherine Week, Clark,
Aye.
Falvey,
Aye.
Gardner,
Aye.
Harrod,
Aye.
Shalinsky,
Aye.
Wisner,
Aye.
and motion carries.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I'd ask you to signify your approval of the motion by hitting the leave button.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Take care.
Thank you guys very much.
Bye-bye.
Have a good evening.